Okay, and I'm talking about high performance professionals, what I call high performance professionals. Now, these people have to make money in large quantities with large groups of people sometimes. They need to manage people. Good morning, Jake. So, when they do this, they have to know about things like resistance. Okay, resistance. Now, what is resistance? Well, resistance is anything negative. Anything negative presents resistance in your life. Okay, so now let's talk about what this really means. Okay, so yesterday I was talking about money, right? So we were talking about money yesterday, and we were talking about how this guy, like I was, buying him lunch, right? And he said, hey, I have a job, whatever. Okay, so resistance is anything like, when you give someone money, right? And they go, oh, no, 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 what's that for? What, they do that, right? That's resistance. Any energy like that is resistance. Resistance is instead of touching, you push, okay? Instead of stepping, you run, okay? That's resistance. Why? Because it's pushing energy forward. Because when you're pushing energy forward, your blessings can't come to you because of the forward momentum of energy. Okay, so what does this include? It includes doubt, fear, all the negative emotions, okay? Obsessing over how it will happen because now you have mental resistance. Okay, now you have mental resistance that's keeping things away from you because thoughts create energy. Okay, thinking is a frequency. There's a frequency to different thinking. Not only that, but in the heart chakra, it produces a vibration when you think of something. Have you ever thought of something fearful and then your heart starts beating like that? Right? Okay, so the heart starts activating, and based upon how you're thinking, if it's a good thing and your heart starts beating fast, then you know you're on the right track. If it's a fearful thought and your heart starts beating, okay, then it's beating out of fear. Okay, so it depends. There's fear resistance, okay, but if you're excited about something, there's no resistance. Okay, there's negative resistance like trying to control things or obsessing over things or doubting yourself or doubting things or doubting people. That's resistance. Okay, so now clarity is what you should focus on instead. Now, how do we get clear? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. If you apply all four pillars to one thing, it has to happen. Now, I do this when I really need something or want something. In fact, I try to even keep the word need out of my vocabulary. When I desire something, when I want something, I apply all four pillars, and it happens. Do I always apply four pillars to everything? No, not really. Because it's not necessary. Sometimes I just write. Sometimes I just write affirmations and they work. How does it work? Well, see, the thing about your subconscious, it works through your subconscious, okay? But the thing about your subconscious, it's like a muscle. You need to develop it. You need to strengthen it. You need to exercise it. Because if you're not exercising your subconscious, it's just doing the same old program every day. It's running the same programs all the time. Because you get up, you brush your teeth, you have a pattern. Okay? You have a subconscious pattern. The subconscious does 95% of what you do in your life. 95. Okay? In some cases, 90% depending on what you're doing. Okay? And what I'm talking about is everything that you know how to do already. The things that you need to learn are different. You haven't learned them yet. But the things that you know how to do, like you do automatic, like that, automatic, right? Okay, so those things are all subconscious, all of it. Okay, right now I'm speaking to you out of memory, out of subconscious. Okay, and my subconscious does not know if I'm talking to me or if I'm talking to you. So everything that I'm reiterating is going into my subconscious. Think about that. Okay, so it's reinforcing it into my subconscious. It's working for me. Now the message is being delivered to you. And now if you take that message and you apply it, or let's say it another way, if you take this message and write it down, or let's say it another way, if you take this message and think about it over and over and over, it becomes part of your learning. It becomes part of your subconscious because it becomes a program within your subconscious. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. How many beliefs can a human being have? Tons. You're more intelligent than any supercomputer. Okay, so far. So far, they have not built a computer better than a human. They have programs that run faster, but we are more complex. There are things that AI cannot do yet, but they're working on it. And I suppose one day they'll have it. Okay, but you can go from one thought to another thought to another thought, and then each of those thoughts can branch out and fan out into variations of that thought. And this is what happens with overthinking. This is what happens with your imagination. This is what happens to a lot of my clients. Most of them are girls, females, women, okay? Most of them. The majority of my clients have always been women. Why? Because they want to be confident. The majority of my professionals are women. Why? Because they need an edge. Why do women need an edge? Because everything is slanted against them. From the Bible on down, okay? Let's be real about it, okay? But they always seek the edge. They always go and get degrees. They always go and, research things. They do their homework, okay? That's what they do. So you always see these professionals that are women that are excelling in everything because they apply themselves. Not only do they apply themselves, they can multitask. Why can they multitask? How come they're so good at this? Because they're engineered to become mama bears. That's why. So, women come to me for confidence. Over the years, I've taught more than 7,000 people in 36 years. The majority of them are women and their daughters. And they bring their daughters because they want their daughters to have an edge in the world. They want their daughters to become confident. So if you use affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization, all at the same time, directed at one thing, it has to happen. It just may not happen your way. Why? Because there are infinite possibilities in the universe. There are infinite possibilities with God, however you believe. But there's only the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. So what we're really talking about is the superconscious. Higher self, higher intelligence, infinite intelligence, the unseen, God, all of that is the superconscious. But there are only those three states of awareness, and they all exist in here. Most human beings don't know how powerful they are. Most human beings do not understand the manifestation process. They think it's magic. Let me run a scenario by you so you could see if you think it's magic or not. Okay, so you get a thought. Okay, the thought is, I want a new car. Okay, I always use that. I want a new car. Okay. Now that has to become a belief in your subconscious. So maybe you write, right? Maybe you write, I am so happy and grateful now that I have a new car. Thank you. And maybe you write it every day for 63 days. It takes 63 days to develop a habit, 63 days minimum. Now, around 2 weeks, you'll get a shift, but in 63 days, it becomes a habit, or it becomes a belief. So you can have bad habits and good habits are not harder to form than bad habits. Don't believe that. It's easy for human beings to pick up a habit. But now you write that affirmation. Now it goes into your subconscious. So guess what? You start thinking about it. Then your subconscious shows you proof of these things. The reticular activating system in your brainstem goes, okay, we're going to filter out everything you're not focused on, and you're focused on new cars, so we're going to show you new cars. And maybe you want a, I don't know, BMW. Maybe it's a blue BMW. And then you go, okay, blue BMW. Now your reticular activating system in your brainstem starts showing you, here's a blue BMW, here's a blue one, there's another blue one, another blue one. And pretty soon you go, wow, I never knew there were so many blue BMWs. You see? Now, what is the job of the superconscious in all of this? God. Okay? It starts giving you intuitive thought. Maybe I should put some money away. Maybe I should go test drive. Maybe I should get a loan. Maybe I should call my credit union and see if I qualify for a loan for the car. Okay? So this is the way that it happens. It's not magic. The car doesn't show up in your driveway overnight. But now the goal becomes the car. Now the goal is the car. And because the goal is the car, intuitive thought starts giving you suggestions. Because now there's a target, there's a goal. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay, now let's say you just do the affirmation part. You may have to do it a little bit longer, but it will happen if you keep doing your affirmations. So what's the bottom line here? The bottom line is you have to be faithful to yourself, not to anyone else, not to God, not to anyone else, but yourself. When you're being faithful to yourself, you're being faithful to God, because God lives in here. The kingdom is within. It's not out there. We have eyes, so we look away from the kingdom. We look out there. We seek out there. We look for something out there to make us feel good, or someone out there to make us feel good, or we look for something out there to solve the problem. The answers are all in here, but that's the way that manifestation works. It's not magic. Everything is energy, but when you apply this energy that you have, it works in this way because of awareness. Now, a lot of people don't manifest because they're not aware. They're just not aware. Why? They're grounded into the physical matrix. Okay, so there's certain beliefs in the physical matrix. Well, I can't afford a car because, it'll take me too long to save all that money. I can't afford a car. There's your resistance. That's your resistance right there. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Manuel. That's your resistance. Oh, I can't get that job because I'm not that smart. Going to school would take too long. Okay, there you go. There's your resistance. Most human beings speak and think themselves out of their goals, out of their dreams. I had one rule in my life because I had a mentor when I was 13. And my uncle told me, you can do, be, and have anything. And I was thinking about what I wanted. And I wanted to be in entertainment, and so I said, okay, I want to do this. And I focused on it. But it wasn't until 2008 that I started learning these things, like the science behind these things, like the biological ability behind these things. Yeah, some people are afraid of life, Manuel. You're right. You're right about that. And that's resistance. There you go. Yep, Manuel said it. So, when you have that kind of pronouncement upon yourself, what you're doing is you're putting up resistance for yourself. You're constructing the resistance. You're building the walls. My job is to break down people's walls. I break them down. But it takes some thought, and you also have to be willing. See, I can't help anybody who's not willing. And I can tell who's willing and who doesn't. Because you have to be willing, you have to be seeking in order to find. Seeking and inquiring are two different things. If you're looking into something, you're kind of sort of seeking it. But if you're desiring something strongly, now you're seeking. Seeking is desire. Ask, believe, receive. When you ask, you have to believe in what you're asking. It has to be conducive to you. So you ask, you believe in what you're asking, and you receive the answer. Now, a lot of people look at it the long way. They think about ask, believe, receive like they're going to ask for something. They're going to pray for something. Then they're going to believe that they're going to get it. And then after a little while, because they don't see it yet, which is where faith comes in, faith. But because they don't get it, they start to doubt. Guess what doubt does? Resistance. Doubt starts pushing it away farther and farther and farther. So when you seek, you're desiring. When you seek, you close your distractors. Okay, like this. Close your distractors. And you ask in here. And a way will be made. And that way that is made depends on the superconscious. The how is God's job. And the reason I explain it in these terms is because people believe differently. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm here to give a better understanding of the manifestation process. I've done it over and over and over and over. I can't even tell you, like I don't know. Now it's time to lease a new car, and I'm like, well, I've done everything. I don't know. That there was one car left, and then, yeah, that's not gonna happen because I have to change my mind on that. But I'm just saying, since 2008 until now, all I know is I have new car smell all the time. That's all I know. And I just keep leasing and whatever. It's a business thing. But before I did that, I was, under the belief that you buy a good used car, right? And good used cars start rebuilding themselves after a while. A good used car will rebuild itself, rebuild itself, rebuild itself. Okay. So resistance, and what we're talking today about is resistance. Okay. Resistance comes in many forms. When you resist in any form, you just push it a little farther away. And this is why, when you've been taught that everything is hard work, it's not hard work. You can choose to work long rather than hard. You can choose rhythm, the universal law of rhythm. Have you observed your rhythm? Do you understand your rhythm? Most people don't understand their rhythm because they can't see it, because they're grounded in the physical matrix. So they can't see the rhythm. They can't observe the rhythm because they're not at that level of awareness. How do you sharpen your awareness? You clear this one. Clear this one. When you begin to sharpen your awareness, you can see. And this is why in the Bible they say, they look, but they do not see. They listen, but they do not hear. They can't. Why can't they? Because they're grounded in the physical. There's the body and the spirit. There's the physical and the spiritual. If you're so grounded in the physical, in the calendar, in the clock, in the procedure, in the business, in the corporation, in the position, in the capacity of a participant in the matrix, in the physical matrix, you'll never see it. You can make money. You can make money and still be blind. You can make money and you can have homes and you can have cars and you can have all this stuff and still not see. It's funny, most of my clients that come to me, and they're all professionals. I'm doing my community service right now. I'm not here to sell you anything. But my professionals that come to me, in the beginning, they don't see. Because they've been to college, and in college, they say, okay, it's like this, like this, like this, like this. This is the procedure. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Right? Okay. This is how we do it. This is how it's done. This is the way to do it. So now they've learned. They've learned, oh, it's like this. Most people go to college to get training. Most people don't go to college to get smart. They do that after college. But while they're in college, they're told, okay, this is the way you do this. I dropped out of college. When I dropped out of college, my first mentor said, that's the best thing you ever did. I didn't understand it at the time until I started servicing high-powered professionals. And then I go, oh, that's what my uncle was talking about. And it's not a right and wrong thing. It's an ability to see or corporate blinders or physical matrix. And the reason why I do this for physical matrix is because if you want out of the physical matrix, or if you want to see in to the physical matrix, you have to surrender. That's why I do this, for a visual. You have to let go. Some people are so bound into the physical, they have no idea about the spiritual at all. They have no idea. I know people that are religious that have no concept of spirituality whatsoever. And I'm not talking about a preference of worship. I'm talking about the energy in here. You're not your body, you're not your name, you're the energy that lives in here. And these people have no concept of it. And their pastor will stand there in front of an entire congregation and profess to know the desire of all creation. When some of the wisest people in the world have said, creation is undescribable. You can't describe it. It's too big. God is too big to be defined. God is in everything. God is in the blades of grass. God is in all the animals. But today we're talking about resistance. So if somebody can place doubt in your mind about something and you think about it, it becomes a belief. Some of the most narrow-minded people that I know have come out of an institution. It doesn't matter if it's a religious institution, doesn't matter if it's an educational institution. If you're institutionalized Or let's say it another way, if you're conditioned, you're conditioned. Open-mindedness requires expansion of thought. To keep an open mind, you need to be at a higher vibration. Because light is expansive. Light expands. What happens with positivity? It expands. There's no limit to positivity. There's no limit to the amount of money you can make. There's no limit to the amount of good you can do. What about the other side? What about the dark side, the negative side? Is there a limit? Yeah, there's a limit. Sure. Yeah. You go street, then prison, then graveyard. That's it. That's all you have. The graveyard is the end. It's not the end of your energy. It's the end of your participation in the physical matrix. Your spirit in here is eternal. Your spirit in here keeps going. Einstein showed you. He demonstrated to everyone that, well, yeah, you cannot extinguish energy. That cannot happen. Well, everybody has energy in here. So you're a spiritual being having a human experience. You're using this thing called the body. There's a separation between the body and the spirit. That spirit, in the law of oneness, is what makes all of us one. It's all the same kind of energy. We're all different people, different personalities, but our energy makes us all one. That's what we have in common. So you could look at us like a bunch of spirits walking around every day. But when you look at things as energy, life changes. So there's this thing called metempsychosis. Metempsychosis. You might want to look that up. That means because energy is transmutable, because energy can change, your energy can reincarnate into a dog, into a flower, into a lily pad, into the frog. So in the next life, you might be the lily pad. In the next life, you might be the frog. And then you might come back as a human being. Many ancient cultures believe this. It's not just about reincarnating and, okay, you did good in this life and next life you're a king. No, not like that at all. And it's not that kind of variable. God does not punish. You do. We do. Everything bad that happens to you is because of you. Everything good that happens to you is because of you. Hi, Aura. Good morning. What goes around comes around, but not in the way that you think. What goes around comes around through the subconscious. And until you fix it, you don't fix your patterns. You stay the same. You keep doing it the same thing every day, same thing every day. When you speak against someone, when you strike out against someone, your subconscious doesn't know if you're doing it to them or if you're doing it to you. And then you have low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and you wonder why. Because you didn't guard your speech. It's not like you're going to speak against somebody and then you're going to have an accident. Like, Although you could, I guess. Accidents happen in lower vibrational activities. In higher vibrational activities, it shields you from lower vibrational activities or from lower vibrational things. So we always discuss the frequencies. We always discuss the positive emotions and negative emotions because awareness is key. You need to be aware. Not very many people are aware. They say they're aware. A lot of my clients, when they come to me, when they first come to me, I do a thorough evaluation. And all I do is ask questions and I'll know exactly where they're at. And they'll say things like, oh yeah, I'm pretty confident. And then they ask a few questions. And based upon the answers I get, I go, okay, well, not so confident, huh? I don't tell them that. My job is to help them, not to criticize them. My job is to lift them up, not put them down. My job is to offer solutions. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. The meditation that we give is 10 minutes long, 10 minutes a day. In 15 minutes a day, you can change your life in any direction. If you don't have a job, if you don't have money, if you don't have a love, if you don't have a partner, whatever, any of those things. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Ask, believe, receive. If you're a religious person, look in your Bible. If you're a Bible person, if you're a Christian, Mark 11:24 tells you all about it. But most of those things esoterically in the Bible are referencing the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. The 12 apostles, the number 12. 12 cranial nerves within the kingdom. It's in here. The longest is the vagus nerve that goes all the way down into the heart. When you open the throat chakra in the vibration process of the vocalization exercise, it stimulates the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve in turn stimulates the heart chakra. So when the throat chakra opens, the heart chakra is next. Because when you open your throat chakra, you have enough strength to create a big enough vibration to open the heart chakra through the vagus nerve. This is science. This is physiology. This is not woo-woo. But people that are familiar. They know. The 7 chakras. In the Bible, they're called the 7 seals. So esoterically, there's an explanation for all of this. But the explanation and what it points to is you, is me, it's us, human beings. But you've been told, right, other things. We've been taught things upside down and backwards. So a lot remains hidden until you seek in here. And when you seek in here, when you pause enough and take a long enough break to seek in here, when you start seeking in here regularly, you get answers for everything. Money comes easy, jobs comes easy, relationships come easy. Oh my God, I can't even tell you. It just like that, just like that. Flow. When you do enough meditation, you experience flow state. Flow state. What is flow state? Effortless answers. High awareness. A higher form, a higher state of awareness. When all you have to do is look at something and the answer pops up. You just look at something and you see the synchronicity. In other words, you connect the dots. Very easy to do. It's very easy to do. But first you have to unlock this one. The prison is here. Because you are grounded into the physical matrix. When you are grounded into the physical matrix, or grounded into the physical matrix, you're like this. Okay, this is fearful. Fearful, you know. I can't be late. If I'm late, I'm going to get fired. I have to rush. I have a schedule. I have to be there, and I woke up late, and all of those things that happen in the physical matrix. Okay. There's the physical and the spiritual. The physical belongs to the matrix. The spiritual belongs to you. So can you manifest things inside of this system, inside of this physical matrix? Yeah, of course you can. But if you're grounded into the physical matrix is all you see. And that's all you participate in. Because this is what you believe. This is what you've been taught to believe. So now, it's hard. It's a struggle. I have to effort my way through life. I have to push. No, you don't have to push. All I do is ask. That's all I do is ask. Let me show you how I ask. Like this. This is the new one. This is the one that I'm finished with. This is not journaling. These are affirmations. But affirmations tell your subconscious what to do. Okay? I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Thank you. I am so happy and grateful now that I have an extra $100. Thank you. You don't know where it's going to pop up from. That's the beauty of life. That's the journey. Because you don't know, you get surprised. I get surprised every week. I go, wow, I didn't know that was going to happen. Yesterday, I wasn't expecting a new client. All of a sudden, he's a doctor. Like I said, my clients are high-powered professionals. I call them that because they deal with, big things. Either a lot of people or a position where it's very stressful, that kind of thing. And just out of left field, I get this phone call and boom, there's money. I didn't expect it. But this is what makes the journey fun. This is what makes the journey. This is why you focus on the journey. Don't focus on the problem. Don't focus on the stress. Don't focus on that physical matrix. You have to focus enough to work. You have to focus enough to show up. You have to focus enough to be on time and all those things. But what I'm saying is when this blinds you, when this holds you, when this binds you to the physical, that's the opposition. This is what they call Satan. That's why they say Satan is the god of this world. They're just saying that the physical belongs to the world. The spiritual belongs to you. There's only the conscious, subconscious, superconscious. That's it. That's it. Once you align these three states of alignment, and then you do your affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, aimed at one thing at a time. You'll find out how easy it is. When I put my name in a search on Google or wherever, it doesn't matter, whatever browser, right? I see all the things pop up that I was fantasizing about at 12 years old. And everybody at 12 years old was telling me, yeah, okay, all right, go ahead. Because at 12 years old, I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I saw life, because of my ADHD, I saw life as a Baskin and Robbins with all these flavors. And I'm like, why should I do one thing? Why should I just do one thing? I have one life. That's all I have. I have one. Just like you. And I may not be like you because I have ADHD. And you may not have ADHD. And maybe that's where we're different. But as far as the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious go, we're the same. As far as affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization go, we're the same. It works the same way on every human being. And you have that power in the spiritual realm. I know that sounds a little woo-woo, right? Like, whoa, spiritual realm. Energetic realm, spiritual realm, whatever you call this. Spirit, soul, energy. Everything is energy. In that respect, you're more powerful than you realize if you apply it correctly. And that's why I'm here to explain it. I'm not here to sell you anything. Okay? I don't even mention my prices or anything. I don't do any of that. You want to talk to me, you can access me from all of our platforms. We're on 7 different platforms every day. So you can write to me. I'm very accessible. I will answer all of your questions. If you want to write to me on my email, it's junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com. There you go. But resistance is doubt. Negative self-talk is a big one. Negative self-talk. That's where you pronounce negativity upon yourself. And it's a habit. It becomes a habit. It becomes a habit in the subconscious. You can get in the habit of talking bad about yourself in here. Your subconscious will receive that program. Oh, we're talking bad about ourselves? Okay. And then your subconscious will continue to do it in repetition. And then what happens? Then you feel bad about yourself. Then you're not proud about it. You're proud of what you do. You're not proud of yourself. And I don't mean proud like in boasting or in saying you're better than somebody. I'm just saying feeling good about what you do, feeling good about who you are, feeling good about what's happening around you. The law of correspondence says whatever is happening in here is reflected out here. That means if you're disorganized in here, you're disorganized out here. You ever meet those people? They go, oh, I don't know where I put this, or I don't know what's going on, or whatever. Like that. They're scattered in here. I had a university professor as my client about 3 years ago. And she was doubting herself. When I met her, she was jumping from one thing to another. And then she was telling me, she was with me for a couple years. And then she was telling me that she was up for tenure. And I said, well, if you're up for tenure, you really want to get tenure, then start writing about it. I am so happy and grateful now that I am tenured. Thank you. And so she did that. And we were working on that for 4 months. 4 months. We targeted the same thing. I gave her the meditation. I gave her the affirmation. That was the affirmation that I just showed you. Very simple. This is not rocket science. This is subconscious. I don't care if you're watching Tony Robbins or Bob Proctor or Dean Graziosi or whoever, Joe Dispenza, it's all subconscious training. I break it down for my clients so it's very easy to understand, very easy to do. And it takes 15 minutes a day, maximum 15 minutes a day. You can apply yourself for 15 minutes a day and create miracles. because it has to happen. You're a human being. You're engineered this way. So I gave her the affirmation, the meditation, the vocalization, and the visualization. How to see herself worthy, how to see herself there, how to see herself tenured. And in 4 months, she got her tenure. Coincidence? Well, I can tell you this. If she kept doubting herself the way she was doubting herself when I met her, and she was disorganized in here, that disorganization out here would have prevented that. I guarantee you. But the vocalization process cleared her up in here. And the rest was application. The affirmations, the visualization, the meditation, the stillness, sitting still for 5 to 10 minutes a day. First try 5. It sounds easy. It's not that easy. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The reason why it's not that easy is because we live with so much stimulus, so much, all those dopamine hits you get, all dopamine, you see this, you see that, you go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Right? And we do it to ourselves. You can't unsee something. There's many things every day that I wish I didn't see. But that's life. We live a very complex life as a human, no matter what life you're living, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. Because you're a complex being. But you can simplify that. All you have to do is calm this one, and you start to break the resistance down. It starts to go away. Then what happens? Then you have clarity. Then you have belief. If you have belief, you acquire faith. Faith is believing in the unseen. Faith is believing like you know, like you know, like you know, that whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Whatever you want to happen, whatever you're desiring. The only exception is someone else's free will. That's all. Thank you, Aura. The only exception is someone's free will. So if you like somebody and they don't like you, not going to happen. But if you like somebody and they're neutral, it's possible. It's highly possible. Highly possible. We did this experiment once on the radio where we wrote down, we had 3 people write down their ideal girl, because they were all guys. And we had them write it down. What color hair she had, what kind of education she had, what, how tall she was, all the details. And we wrote down all these details. All of us met the girl. We met that girl. Board. This is a gratitude board. So these are things that I already have. It's a gratitude board. So these are things that I already have. My company logo, stuff like that I have to be grateful for. So you have to express gratitude. So when I see that, I look at this and I go, wow, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You don't even have to direct your thank you to an entity. You don't even have to direct your thank you to Jesus Christ or Allah or God or source or universe. Just say thank you. Just appreciate what you have, and you will get more. But you have to be patient. Patience is key to eliminating resistance. If you're rushing, you're not being grateful. And if you're rushing, you're creating resistance. What's the opposite of resistance? Allowing. Allow. Be patient. Wait. You know how they say, wait for it, right? Wait for it. There you go. All I do is wait. I can't even tell you how many times I've met women that are married. And I go, wow, yeah, she's cute, but she's married. And guess what? Like 3 years later, 4 years later, sometimes, like they come back in my world and, oh, I'm divorced, whatever. And then we go out. I'm just using that as an example. Money works the same way. How do you attract money? By allowing money in. You don't have to walk around saying, I love money, I love money, I love money. Everybody says they love money. I know brokies that say they love money. They love money, right? But they can't make money stick. Why? It's not about saying I love money. If money is not sticking in your life, ask yourself a few key questions. Am I being generous? Am I giving? Because in order to get something, you have to give. And in order to get something specific, you have to give it first. Are you giving money? Some people go, well, I don't have enough money to give. Oh, do you have change? Do you have quarters? Do you have dimes, nickels, pennies? Oh, yeah, I have that. Okay, take that. Go to the shopping center and give it to the kids. And watch their hearts start beating fast like that because they're happy, because they're thrilled, because they're jumping around because you gave them change. Whatever it is you want, you have to give first. So if you don't have money, ask yourself, am I being generous? The other thing is, am I being grateful? Now, if you don't have money, if you don't have any money, I was in a position when I was in my 20s, my early 20s, I was sleeping on a sidewalk. I had zero money. Zero. Every night. Zero. At the end of the night, I had money. Why? Because I created money. Did I have a print shop and I was printing money? No, of course not. I went into shops and I say, can I clean your shelves and stuff? Like, you have any jobs I can do? You have any, whatever? Ask, believe, receive. Ask. Some people are too proud to ask. Some people are too, the ego is too big. They cannot ask. The ego is too big. They cannot give. The ego is too big. They cannot pray. So that means you're stuck in the physical matrix, because that's not a characteristic of spirit. It's a characteristic of flesh. And you have to surrender. There you go. Like I said, I'm not here to sell you anything. Okay? But my clients, when they come in, they have to learn these things. When they start to work these things, when they start to balance these things, when they know that, if they want cooperation out of their employees, they have to do these things. They have to give and take. They have to demonstrate. Demonstrate what? They have to demonstrate that they're working too. The bosses that roll up their sleeves and go with the employees and start doing the work with them, start sweeping up the warehouse with them, that kind of thing. Yeah, like that. So whatever it is you want cooperation, you have to give it first. You want gratitude, you have to give it first. You want money, you have to give it first. If you don't have money, you don't have anything, then you give your time. Give your time to someone. Give your knowledge to someone. Bless someone with your abilities, with your natural gifts, with your blessings. I do this every day for 1 hour. Every day. 7 a.m. every day, Hawaii time. On 7 of these platforms. These 7 platforms that we're on right now, I do this every day for 1 hour. I'm not going to get this hour back in my life. Am I resentful? Of course not. Do I get blessings from this? Of course. Does it come from selling stuff to you guys? No. Not at all. Not at all. Give of your time. When you give of your time, you give of your life. Your life is more valuable than a piece of paper with a 100 written on it, okay? It's more valuable than these, okay? It's more valuable than these, okay? These are paper. This is paper, okay? It's just paper with an assigned value, with a perceived value. It cannot pay you literally what you're worth in time, because your life is priceless. You've been given this life this way to live like this one time. This is your one shot at it. After this, metempsychosis can take place and you could come back as the frog, or the lily pad holding the frog, or the fly that gets eaten by the frog. Then guess what? Metempsychosis happens again and you can come right back as something else, and maybe the grasshopper next time, maybe the praying mantis, maybe the caterpillar, maybe the butterfly, until you become the human again. But the beautiful part about it is you won't know. But you have this one shot. You have this one life to live this way, right now, right in the here and now. You're living one long now. Einstein said, time is an illusion. So if time is an illusion, we just have this one long now. The sun goes up, moon goes up, sun goes down, sun goes up, moon comes up, moon goes down. But we're all living one eternal cameras. That's why you see me look around like